Okay, our session is on recording now. So what is requirement analysis? Let's look at the requirement analysis from a layman point of view. We've done our requirement gathering and documentation. So after requirement gathering and documentation, the next thing is to analyze our requirement. But before I even look at our lesson notes, let's try to understand requirement analysis from the commonest point of view. Let's look at a scenario. You are sick, you are not feeling well, you're going to see a doctor. Yeah, Ngozi, please put yourself on mute. So you've got to see a medical doctor because you're not feeling well. And like I told you earlier when we were starting, that a business analyst is a business doctor, just like a medical doctor is a human doctor. So in this case, let's look it for it as a medical doctor, because medical doctors too, they do analysis, they do requirement analysis. You're going to see a medical doctor, you are not well, the doctor have to sit you down to interview you. When the doctor is interviewing you, the doctor will be collecting requirement. That is what we call requirement gathering from a medical doctor. The doctor needs to collect requirement. During that time, the doctor will be gathering requirement and taking notes. That is analysis and documentation. At times, the doctor will then tell you, in order to carry out the full analysis, go get urinary sample, get blood sample, and when you get urinary sample, they label it, you get blood sample, they label it, and after all the gathering and the labeling of that is requirement gathering and modeling, they send it to lab, the lab technician or lab scientist to analyze, carry a lot of tests on your urinary, blood sample, and the rest of them, even blood, mouth swab or whichever thing. This is all the requirement they gathered from you. They analyze, trying to find out what is wrong with you. That is, during the time all these requirements are subjected for lab tests and things like that. That is what we call analysis. That's within the human area, human doctor. When it comes to business analysis, we do our own analysis. After gathering requirements, documenting them, we carry out our own analysis using so many methods. We have gap analysis. We have the most common, we have a root cause analysis. At times we use statistical analysis. There's different types of analysis that can be, the analysis together can be subjected to, depending on the type of requirements you are working on or you're analyzing. So that is what is requirement analysis. In our own case, we've gathered requirements from sales department about lead process is a process. Given that is a process, we are going to be looking for analysis that will help us to understand the process, both the as-is process and to-be process, analyze them, find out the gap, and then find a solution to bridge the gap. That is improving the process. That is it from simplest point of view and explanation. That's what we plan to understand tonight. Okay, let's go and see from our notes. So you should be seeing my notes at this point. And so I've already given you, trying to use layman's language to explain all this. But here, requirement analysis is a critical phase in projects management and system development that involves understanding, documenting, validating the need and expectation of stakeholders. It helps in identifying necessary features, functionalities, and constraints of a project or action or system. Proper analysis ensures that the project is aligned with business objective and meet the need of stakeholders. So we'll try to understand all this need of stakeholders. So everything, all the things we gathered from them, we'll take it bit by bit to analyze them. And that is why it's very important that if you disrupt my class, I might put you on hold. We want to finish this as quickly as possible so that we can go start celebrating, because Jesus died for you. All right. Key techniques in requirement analysis. In this boot camp, we are just going to focus on 2 techniques. This is the most industrial, acceptable, or used, not acceptable, used techniques. So most companies or most organizations or most problems or solutions you are going to be solving, it might not go beyond gap and root cause analysis. So let's focus on this. So in requirement analysis, various techniques are used to identify and define this project requirement. 2 important techniques are gap and root cause analysis. It's very simple to use them if you understand them. Gap analysis is a technique used to compare 2 states or systems. It's a comparative analysis. You can call it comparative analysis. That's another way you can use to apply on gap analysis. So you are comparing the state of a system, the state of a process or situation with the desired future. So you are looking at where you are and where you want to be. You're comparing where you are and where you want to be. You know? So let's give another scenario. You are trying to this woman basically Okoje, you are stubborn, and I'm not gonna take that from you. You know, you've done that, and you quickly. I don't know if what's happening, or you need to control yourself. We are in a public environment, although you are in your home, but you are in a public environment, so you have to try to behave yourself. So, like I said, gap analysis, you are trying to compare 2 systems. You know, these days, we do a lot of improvement. Let's say you have a Mercedes car, or let's use Toyota, which this is the one I've seen so much. You have Toyota lesser model and latest model, and you want to upgrade your lesser model to the latest model. Then you need to compare the 2, let's say 2000 and let's say you want to 2005 Toyota, or let's say 2000 and no, 2000 is too far. Let's say 2020 to 2025. You are using 2020 model and you want to improve, you want to upgrade it to 2025 model. So you need to look at those two. Is a system. I want to use a system here. So a car is a system. You need to look at some of the upgrade, and then you have to remove some of these new features. They use sensors, some of them they use pump start, some of them. All these are the upgrade in the new feature you want to get because you want to enjoy all these new stuffs. So this is what you do. You put both of them side by side and compare both of them. In our own case, we have manual lead management. Now we're talking of a process, manual lead management and automated lead management. How can we transit from manual lead management to automated lead management? The only way to do that is through something like, but before we look for solution, we must identify all the gaps between the manual and the automated, meaning that we want to identify all the benefits of the automated lead management that the manual lead management cannot provide. These are the gap in the two processes. That is what gap analysis is all about. So trying to do that, we have step-by-step process of this gap analysis. First, identify the current state, which is the manual. Gather data and understand the system process situation. Example, in retail business, the current state might be involved using manual inventory tracking. Like I said, manual. So that is trying to understand the current state. It means that this analysis you can be applied in so many areas, both in retail, both in education, both in automation, both in a lot of things. Like if you want to solve a problem in the education, you want to carry out a gap analysis. If you want to carry out looking at universities, why they are not providing quality education, you need to look thoroughly into the current process of education or tuition provision in the universities. And if there is a desired state, maybe you'll be seeing Oxford, Harvard University, this is the way they have been doing it, and this is why they are producing exceptional students. You must understand the way Harvard provide education. You compare the two states. If you must get whichever school you're planning to Harvard standard, you must understand the two states very well and know what is lacking in the current state. So that is it. Define the desired future. Establish clear goals or the target state you want to achieve, just like I use maybe a Nigerian university and Harvard University. It's okay. Example again here is the desired state could be an automated inventory system integrated with real-time data cell, if we are using sales cells here. Analyze the gap. Compare the states, the current state with desired future to identify the gap. By the time you put both of them side by side, you have to be seeing the gap in the two systems. And it's going to be easy for you to feature out problems, where these problems lies, where the company is not moving forward, or where the organization is not moving forward, or where the process is not moving forward. You need to, once you place both of them side by side, you need to see. That is it. That's one thing with business analysis, you can apply it anywhere. That's why I say business analysis can work anywhere, solving problems. If you want to work as a consultant for a nation, for instance, all this where everybody's jackbarring, and you all of a sudden you see a very good government and say, okay, well, we need to look into this issue of jackbarring, that people will stop this brain drain. Where are these people running to? All these people, they run to UK. Everybody, I want to go to UK. Everybody, I want to go to US. I want to go to Canada. So Nigeria is now the current state. And the desired state is United States of America. To stop people going to United States of America, you need to compare the two. What are they going to? What are the benefits of going to United States? If you understand all the benefits going to United States, you look at all the things that are not working in Nigeria, you compare both of them side by side. For instance, constant electricity. People go there, no more electricity, wahala, you can't. Now, security, people are running away from insecurity. Now, people are running away from unemployment because in Nigeria there is no job. Once they go to US, within 2 months, they've gotten a job. These are a lot of things. Health provision, like here in UK, once you're a UK resident, you don't, once you are sick, you go to this thing, as long as you are paying your tax, you go and have a good health services. Once you are a UK resident, your children goes to school. You don't pay anything because you are paying your tax from primary to secondary level. And even if you are going for university, they give you loan to do that. So these are two systems that one is working, one is not working. You must, if you want to stop the brain drain, if you compare the two systems, then you know what is not working in Nigeria. You have to find a solution to fix all those things. Once you fix all these things that people, you see, even a lot of people who have jackpot will return back because you fix the system, it's working. So you as a business analyst, you can do a lot of things, you can do amazing things just with these simple techniques. And these are because so many, you must say it's simple. And why didn't they know all this? Well, they do not know. So it's something we have to understand so we can start applying it in everyday life, environment, place of work. If your company is struggling, you can just from nowhere volunteer, analyze, and tell your boss, okay, I volunteer. Let us do this. Let us do that. And see, you get a rise, get promotion from nowhere for just simple solution you've applied. So all these big companies back home are this and like, do you think they know all this? So many of them, they don't know all this. Okay. After the analysis, compare and analyze the gap. Now you compare the current state with the desired future to identify the gap. Example, let's look at the gap on this inventory here. We say the gap may include lack of inventory management software or outdated hardware or need for staff training. So you've compared the two states. Here you carry out, identify the current state and define the future state. Now you carried out the gap and now you've seen that. Here we have inventory management software. That is where the problem lies. Outdated hardware in the inventory management. So you need to update this outdated. And then you need to train staff. Very simple. And once you've done these three steps, the next step is to prioritize the gap. During the gap, you find out so many, during the analyzing the gap, you identify so many gaps. But here you might not know, where do I stand? Do I start training the staff first? Is that the first thing to do? No. Or is it to first fix the outdated hardware? So you need to prioritize what comes first. So not all gaps are equal in terms of importance and urgency. Prioritize them based on the business need, feasibility, and cost. Example, you might prioritize acquiring inventory software over upgrading the existing hardware. So whichever one, that be the, by the time you do your prioritization, you know where to start and which one to even put behind. After the prioritization, now you know what you need to do. So by the time you do the prioritization, now you've known at this point, these are likely projects you are going to start implementing. So here is lack of inventory software. These are 3 different likely solutions for you at this point. And then when you do prioritization, you find out that this is the project you are going to be focusing on, acquiring this software. And with this, you have come up with a solution. That is a solution. After gap analysis, you find out the solution is to acquire inventory management system. Then you develop an action plan. So with this solution, you have to carry out cost-benefit analysis to let the organization know that this is going to be a viable project. You do solution evaluation, and during the solution evaluation, you need to look, because yes, it's inventory management system that we want to develop or design or implement for the organization. That's what you plan to recommend for them to do. In this scenario, if you go to the market, there are so many inventory management systems from different sources, different companies, different vendors. Still here, you need to do what we call solution evaluation to know which one is best. And then, like in our own case, if you are taking CRM system, at this point, you see what is, if we talk about CRM, we have Soho, we have the Dynamics, we have Salesforce. So you do solutions evaluation. Once you get one particular, for in this particular case, one inventory management system, you still need to carry out cost-benefit analysis. This is to let the organization understand the return on their investment. Is it viable investment? Just cost-benefit is enough. It's enough for them to know that, yeah, this is viable. And once you've done that, you draft a business case. And once you draft a business case, these are part of the action plans. You create a project charter, and the project manager from there will start project plan, designing, solution design in the second stage of the project. And after solution design, implementation of this solution. And after implementation, you train the staff. And after training the staff, you deploy and you close the project. So that is it. You see that number 5, develop an action plan. You create a plan to close the identified gap. This should include specific actions, timeline and resources. Example, implement software, train staff, and integrate the new system. And that's it. So that's how you solve problems. So that's it. You want to do gap analysis? That's it. So let's look at another case study here in gap analysis. This gap analysis case study, finance and accounts process in Nearest Limited. So in this case, they do not have ERP system. Let's look at what's happening. The process map outline the core financial activities in a company that does not utilize ERP system, highlighting key actors. So what is ERP system? ERP system is just like a CRM system, but this time is enterprise resource planning, using it to manage company resources like finance, like human resources and things like that. That's what some companies do not have it. I wonder how companies do not have ERP. How do they manage their accounting department? A lot of things going on, money going in and out. How do they manage it? It's difficult. How do they manage their human resources? It's difficult. There will be a lot of bottleneck in the system. Things will not be moving. There will be a lot of error because of handling. There will be a lot of fraud going on if there's no ERP system. So in order to do that, to solve this problem and implement ERP for them, we might consider looking at this here. First, try to understand the current process. You define the current process. Before you define the current process, here we can say, let's get the process map done. We already know what process flow is all about. So you look at here, you see it says person, customer, purchase, vendor, accountant. These are all the people involved here. So if you might be looking at gathering requirement in a scenario like this, these are likely people who are going to gather requirements to understand what is happening within the finance and accounts and all the related area. So if you want to gather requirements and model them, these are things you go to the salesperson to understand his or her own inputs. The salesperson here who does the order creation, you need to understand how he or she does the sales order creation. He'll be telling you the salesperson creates a sales order, document it manually, specifying items, quantities, price, and customer details. Paper copies are generated, or the information is stored electronically in a separate system, which is maybe spreadsheet. Then invoice generation, salesperson still. Upon shipment or service completion, the salesperson creates an invoice document. The salesperson still, the information is manually copied from the sales order or recreated. The paper copies are generated for physical delivery to the customer, or electronic copies are sent via email. And payment collection, still salesperson. The salesperson collects payment from the customer through various methods: cash, check, credit card. Payment might be received in person or mail or deposited directly into their bank account. The salesperson might need to chase overdue payment, if maybe it's payment by installment. And then the accountant come in at this point. The accountant manually record customer payments in ledger or accounting software. The invoice, according to this invoice recording, checks receive deposit made and outstanding invoice. Then bank reconciliation, still accountant. The accountant regularly download and receive physical bank statements. They manually compare the bank statement entries with the company record of deposit and payment. Any discrepancies require manual investigation and correction. Purchase order creation from the purchaser. The purchaser creates a purchase order document manually specifying items, quantities, and desired delivery dates. Paper copies are generated or the information is stored electronically, example spreadsheet. The purchase order is then sent to the choosing vendor. Okay, now the accountant again. Upon receiving goods and services, the company receives an invoice from the vendor, paper or electronically. The accountant manually enters the invoice detail into ledger or accounting software. They need to verify pricing and other details against the purchase order, and then payment approval, which is at times optional. Depending on company policy, some invoice might require approval by a designated manager before payment. The manager physically review the invoice and authorize payment with a signature. Payment processing. The accountants, upon approval, the accountant manually initiate payments to the vendor, issue a check, making a wire transfer, or authorizing an online payment. And the reporting. After all this, the accountant manually generates reports accumulating data from various sources such as sales, invoice and customer payment, purchase invoice and vendor payment, bank statement and ledger. This process can be time consuming and prone to a lot of errors. So this is the current process in a situation where this company called Neras, they don't have ERP system. So all these things are manual handling. And you can see it's a lot. And this kind of system is prone to a lot of error. Additional note here, this process is a labor intensive and error prone compared to using ERP system. Data duplication across spreadsheets and the documents is common, leading to inconsistencies. Manual reconciliation of bank statement is time consuming and tedious. Generating reports requires significant manual effort and aggregation of data. These are a lot. So now the process map emphasizing the challenges. In a situation like this, now you've documented it and you need to create a process map. We all know about what process map because we've created one. I've asked you guys to create one. So you do model this to understand the gap in this system. So you have seen the gap. You've seen now you captured this is what we call requirement documentation, requirement gathering, documentation, and modeling. The last time we did the requirement documentation, we did a bit of modeling, didn't we? Yeah, we did modeling. Now we finished doing modeling, and what I'm trying to say, we did a bit of gap analysis in that model. So here we capture it, and then we'll come down here to identify the gap. So during the process, we identify areas that is not all the areas that can be automated. You find out that all these areas highlighted in red colors can be automated. They can be automated, and this is where the gap lies in the system. That is a gap analysis. You've done it. That is gap analysis for you. So we already know how to do this gap analysis. This is the easiest way for you to do a gap analysis. We've done that before. And then we have other gap analysis examples here, which, like in a restaurant, audit reports, and things like that. These are areas you can equally perform simple gap analysis to solve a problem. For instance, here in this scenario, in a restaurant, you have a problem, identify the problem, you identify the current situation, you identify the desired outcome, and you identify the gap. And then you identify solution. The problem here, customers complain that the food takes too much time to be served. So it takes too much. You find out when they are complaining this way, you try to find out the ideal, the current amount of time it takes to serve a food in a restaurant. For instance, you walk into a restaurant, I want to eat jollof rice, and you sit there for 14 minutes waiting for your food to be served. So food takes on average of 14 minutes to be served. Some customers will be pissed off. What is this? For instance, if you are working in an office where you only have 15 minutes break, or let's say 30 minutes break for your lunch, and you walk into a restaurant and it takes up to 15 minutes, start waiting, how much is left for you to eat. You know, you have to either you drive to the restaurant or you walk to the restaurant. So this is, in a situation like this, you are going to get a lot of complaints, a lot of angry customers. You know, more especially some of you that work in bank or this and that, so all this corporate environment, you know what I'm talking about. Then if you find out that it's 14 minutes, you then try to understand the desired waiting period, which can be the food should be served not more than 11 minutes from the ordering. Even if they have to do the preparation or do some prepping, it should not exceed 11 minutes. So this is the desired, the current state is 14 minutes. Desired state is 11 minutes. And then what is the gap? The gap, you subtract this 11 from 14, that is 3 minutes. That is the gap here. You need to do whatever you need to do to claim these 3 minutes from this 14 minutes. And action here, requirement, obtain more information from the customers about their experience. Ask the employees what would help them to provide faster customer service. Then, during this process, you understand what the employees here is between the kitchen and the waiter who comes to take the order, go back to the kitchen, give the kitchen, the chef, the order to prepare. So these two people these are the people you need to focus to understand what's going on. And you find out maybe in the restaurant, you find out that the kitchen chef do not understand the cooking gadgets in the kitchen. He might be struggling to understand how to use a lot of things, or maybe the kitchen arrangement, a lot of things are not done properly, or they are using outdated equipment in the kitchen that takes time. So in this scenario, even if it means they need to replace a lot of things, upgrade and change things and do training, for instance, all the things they are using, at times they can You have something that can give you multiple, multitasking within the kitchen. You can have a fryer, things like that. They can start using it. And you find out that once all these things are done, the kitchen is upgraded, and then you train the employees on how to use all those things. You find out that you are talking about them serving food within 11 minutes. You can see them serving the food even within 7 minutes of order. You see, you've solved a big problem here, because if you didn't do this, you see all these customers coming to the restaurant, they will migrate to another restaurant, and you will close and go back to the village. So that's it. Audit reports. Another way, another scenario, using gap analysis in an audit. The last audit results were negative in all areas. You see here the problem. External audit score is below expected. That is standard, that is 60. It's below, that is, and the desired outcome is that external audit score should be above 90. So the gap here is 30%, 30. How do you do this to get it to where it's supposed to be? You can see likely actions here: improve documentation and control of documents, comply with legal and other requirements, maintain all external and internal communication record. And once these are done, you can see that maybe the next external audit, these are where you scored low, because all these things, maybe you need to automate some of this documentation and recording control. And once this is upgraded, you see your audit reports surging up even more than 95%. So these are various ways you can simply key in and do your gap analysis in a very low key, but it's better to use a detailed process flow like this, where you can map out the process and do your gap analysis. At this point, I believe we all can do a gap analysis, very quick gap analysis. Anybody here is there anybody of us here who is still struggling with gap analysis, understanding what gap analysis in business analysis? Okay, let's quickly dive into root cause analysis. Root cause analysis is another good area we might be using a lot, depending on the kind of project. When we're trying to solve a problem, we then use persistent problem. We use root cause analysis. So if you're having constant headache, all the time headache, you'll be taking, you have headache, you take paracetamol. You have headache, they say drink a lot of water. You have headache, they say have some rest. You keep on having the headache. You just be moving around taking all this. But if you want to apply root cause analysis to find out what is wrong, you need to go to the hospital, go to the laboratory, carry out a test, find out what is wrong with you, and find out that all these paracetamol you are taking is not a problem. Maybe something else is developing in your body, you don't know, and you are just there taking paracetamol, drinking water, doing all this. So root cause analysis will help us to solve a problem, go down to the root cause. Most of the time we solve problem at the surface, like you taking paracetamol, taking fancy and things and that. These are solving problem from the surface. You quickly rush to the nearby chemist, you buy medicine, you take. Yeah, you might take it, you subside it for some tools like 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, you come back. So it means you are not solving any problem. Yeah. We professionals, we don't solve problems like that. You know, it might be easier to go buy medication from pharmacy to take, you know, society, but we are not solving a problem. You know, just here one day that somebody slum on the, you are going to work in slum, another story, you don't pass away. And they say, I don't know, but you know that you'll be having constant headache, that you'll be buying paracetamol. So let's look from the professional point of view, which we are. Root cause analysis is a problem-solving technique. Gap analysis is, yes, you're solving problem, but you are improving on the process. But this one, you're trying to solve the problem permanently. You are not improving any problem. So you must understand what is wrong here and get it out of the system. So used to identify the underlying cause of a problem rather than simply addressing the symptoms. It helps in preventing the reoccurrence of the issue by addressing the root cause. Yeah, addressing the root cause. So all the time, you and your boyfriend will be fighting. You fight to make up. You fight to tomorrow the same thing. Then you need to sit down and people find out lasting solution so people can have peace. And you find out that you can have peace, find a solution why you guys quarrel a lot, and find out you solve the problem. The next thing, because you solve the problem permanently, no more quarreling, and you have time to think about your wedding and the banku setting because you solve the problem, you know, something like that. So, okay, step by step guide to root cause analysis. We must have to define the problem, clearly state the problem you are trying to solve. Example, order an e-commerce platform that are frequently delayed. Order on an e-commerce platform are frequently delayed. Frequently delayed. That's the problem here. Let's look at it from this point of this is the problem here. This is a recurring problem. It says, sorry, it's frequently delayed. Frequently means that it keep recurring, delay. Okay, collect data, gather information and evidence related to the problem to understand its scope and impact. Example, collect data on delayed orders, including customer complaint and delivery record and vendor timeline. And then identify root causes. So when you are trying to identify root causes, there are some techniques we use in root causes. We have some techniques called 5 whys. We have another technique called fishbone diagram. So you can use any of this technique inside root cause analysis. So if you want to use a 5 whys to solve a root cause problem, you need to keep asking this 5 why question. And let's see example of 5 whys in this problem. Delay, constant delay in this order on e-commerce platform. Okay, if we need to start using 5 whys, the first thing we say, why are order delayed? We need to start why the orders are delayed. Why and because. That is going to be the question. We keep asking why and getting because till we can't get any, we cannot say any more why, and we cannot get any more because. If there's a point to find out that there is no more why to ask, and there is no more because. And let's see here why. You can have 5 whys, you can even have up to 8 whys. So just be in mind. Well, let's use 5 whys. Why are orders delayed? Because vendors are not processing them on time. Okay, why are vendors slow in processing? Because they are not receiving order notification promptly. We are not going to, because if you want to solve this problem at the surface, you see, why are order not, why are order delayed? You say because vendors are not processing them on time. You rush because you are the manager. Where are the vendors? You are not, you are not solving any problem. You have to calm down and let's get down to the roots. Why are vendors slow in because they are not getting notification on time? Okay, why are notification delayed? Because the notification system is experiencing technical glitch. And this is where the problem starts. You see, there is a faulty system, a faulty feature in the system, or a faulty system in the process, in the whole process. There is a fault here. What do we know? We need to fix this. Once we fix this, every other problem will be solved. That is where if this problem here is not fixed, you find out that we are not getting anywhere. So, determine the root cause. Now you've identified the possible causes, determine the root cause, analyze the identified cause and determine the root cause by looking for the most fundamental issue. The root cause could be an unreliable notification system. Okay, develop a solution. Once the root cause is identified, propose and implement a solution to prevent the issue from reoccurring. Example, upgrade or fix the notification system. At times you might say, let's fix the notification system and find out that the system is deprecated, is outdated, is no longer in use. You need to get a new system. So it means there should be an upgrade of system. So it's left for you to see if it need to be fixed or upgrade. So you choose whichever one that is more scalable and more viable, either upgrading or fixing the notification system to ensure timely order processing by vendor. And once that is done, the next is to implement and monitor, apply the solution, and continuously monitor the system to ensure the problem does not occur again. Example, track vendor processing time after the system upgrade to ensure improvement. Okay, and in this is another way to do root cause analysis. Like I told you, we have why. This is why. And another one here is fishbone diagram. So this is a fishbone diagram. Why we call it a fishbone diagram is that we use this method. This is the head of the fish. And you see all these are bone. It's like when you remove all you see a fish bone. That's why we call it fish bone. It's popularly called fish bone. It's called cause and effect. So here you're looking at the problem. If you want to apply fish bone here, you look at the problem. That is the head. And then we have various factors that can cause this problem. We have a problem, we try to identify all the possible factors where a problem can come in this system. And in this system, you see this where this kind of problem can cause. You see a method, you see equipment, you see environment, you see material, you see measure, you see man. This process is most commonly used in manufacturing industries. That's how we eliminate problems in most of the manufacturing industries. So, looking at this, you see the problem we have here is it might be tidy on your own, but by the time you get the lesson note, you see it very well. Don't worry. So, the problem here is increased invoice error. Increased invoice error. What could be the likely cause of increase in invoice error? Let's look at method of this invoicing. What are the method? You see, in the method, we have cumbersome process. The method is very cumbersome. All of us know what cumbersome. And another is manual data entry. So we do the manual data, we input data manually, and it's cumbersome because if you have a lot of data to input here to process the invoice, and it's cumbersome, they start getting tired. You look at from another angle, from man angle, that's human resources or human. So you see here, increased workload. This could be where the error, because the workload, what the person is doing is too much for the person. When the person's workload is too much, it can lead to data error or things like that. Poor technical support, low morale. This is it. Poor technical support, increased workload, and low morale. This could lead to this. And then measure. You see here, poor audit. It could be from the poor auditing, poor audits. You look at here, equipment used in, this is method, and this is the equipment. Here on equipment, inadequate printer, system not integrated. Then you will look at material used, poor paper quality, delay in paper supply. Then you have environment, poor ergonomics, and the noisy offices. You see, that is what we call fishbone diagram. So this, and equal, I say, is cause and effect. So this, if we're trying to use this fishbone diagram to solve a problem, we'll first identify the problem here and surrounding factors that can possibly cause. Once we collect all these, we are very close to solving this problem. Okay, in this fishbone diagram, analyzing the root cause of increased error, the diagram categorized potential causes into 6 main factors. Root cause analysis. Number 1, environment. Looking at the environment here, like I captured in the
Sir?
So, Mr. App, accept that. Please put yourself on mute.
Sir?
I said, please put yourself on mute. Okay, looking at this, what we captured in the diagram, we have environment, we have equipment, method, material, measure, and people. And looking at environments, noisy offices distract employees, leading to error. Poor ergonomics, discomfort can reduce efficiency and focus. Equipment, inadequate printers may cause misprint or delay. Incompatible system could lead to error when transferring or processing invoice data. System not integrated, lack of automation, increase human errors. Method here, cumbersome process, complex workflow can lead, can increase likelihood of mistakes. Manual data entry, prone to human error due to typos or interpretation. Material, poor paper quality can lead to, can affect the readability of the invoice. Delay in paper supplies, interrupt workflow leading to rush and incorrect invoices. Measure, poor audit system, lack of proper checks result in error going unnoticed. And man, low morale, the motivated employee may not pay attention to detail. Increased workflow, overburdened employee may rush tasks and make mistakes. Poor technical support, employee may struggle to resolve system-related issue, increasing mistakes. So you see how all this can cause just simple errors. But now with this, you are dealing with this problem. And once you use this to solve this problem, you might not have this kind of problem in a very long time. Conclusion. The root cause of increased invoice error are a combination of human, process, and system inefficiencies. Key areas for improvement: automating invoice processing to reduce manual entry error, improving system integration and technical support, enhancing the work environment by reducing noise and ensuring ergonomic setups, addressing workload issue through better staffing and optimization process. Once this is sorted, this is the solution to this, you find out that you will not have any problem within your printing environment, not just only invoice, but other things that come from printing department will be perfect. So, for fishbone diagram cause and effects, cause and effect analysis lesson, you have to read up this. We are not going to go read it up, or we don't have time. So you read this up on your own. And we've already seen the process of fishbone diagram. So you read it up. We'll have purpose of fishbone diagram. We'll have components of fishbone diagram. We have steps to create a fishbone diagram. and advantages of fishbone diagram, limitation of fishbone diagram, and conclusion. And then we'll come here, a comparison of gap analysis and root cause analysis. Gap analysis focus on identifying differences between the current and the desired states to guide improvement efforts, while root cause analysis focus on identifying root cause of a problem to develop a lasting solution. So that's it. Both techniques are essential for requirement analysis, but they are applied in different contexts. Gaps analysis when aiming to achieve a new goal, root cause when analyzing when solving the occurring issue. You know, so practical guide, use gap analysis. Gap analysis useful when planning a project's development roadmap, such as expanding businesses, operation, introducing new technologies, or launching new services. Root cause analysis, ideal for troubleshooting ongoing issues within a project, such as inefficiencies in a system, recurring product defects, or customer service problem. So, why 5 why techniques in the root cause analysis? We've already talked about 5 whys. These are another information or additional notes to help you assimilate it. The following are commonly referred example to explain 5 whys. In this case, we have 5 whys. I have just got caught up in a speedy camera. So where you can apply scenarios where you can apply this kind of 5 whys. This is another scenario. For instance, I have got caught up speeding. Now the speeding camera just got you caught up, and you are now here in the UK or other countries where they have speedy cameras. Once you've been captured by a speedy camera, you will be given a fine to pay for overspeeding, and that is the problem, your personal problem. You have got caught speeding by a speedy camera. What do you do to solve this problem permanently? Why? I drove fast because I was late to work. That is number one. So why are you late to work? Are you driving because you're late to work? Why? Because I got up late. Why did you get up late? Because my alarm clock didn't work. Why did the alarm clock didn't work? Because batteries were flat. So you see, why? Because I forgot to replace them. So you see, this little problem, that's why you are now going to, because just you couldn't replace them. But this is the root cause. These are all the causable. So all you need to do is go replace your battery so that you continue to get alarm to get you wake up all the time, so you won't be able to rush in. And this will help you, this amount of money. Now you are going to pay like £150 or thereabouts. It's mainly between 50 to, depending on the area where they caught you. Here in UK, you can pay up to like all these ticketing between 50. If you pay on time, you can pay like £50. If you do not pay on time, you can pay even up to £150. So that's it. So using the 5 why approach, and these are so many other examples of 5 whys. You have to read your notes to assimilate all this. In this one, this 5 why here, the problem is customer complain about delay test results at our laboratory. Customers are complaining about. Why are they complaining? Because our laboratory has too much workload. Why? Because more requests for COVID-19 testing continue to come in. Why? Because more people need to be tested for the virus. Why? Because the country is facing new era or new wave, you see. So that is why you are having delay, because of new wave. You know, and action here, hire more medical staff to help with COVID-19 test. So this is it. And using 5 whys here with your team, you need to specify the problem, ensure your problem is relevant, and solving it will make a difference. Ask why the problem occurs. Write answers down below the problem. Ask why for generating answers, and write the answers down. Keep asking until the team identify the root cause of the problem, or until you get the answer, I don't know. So you keep getting why until no more why. You must get I don't know. You ask, I have no clue. Once you get to this stage, then it means you are very close, or you must have struck the cause of the problem. Once you finish, discuss and agree on the corrective action that will permanently correct the problem. And that is the end of my story. Yep. So that's how you can, with this lesson, if you assimilate it and understand it very well, you might go back to read the note again to assimilate it. It must sink. Let it sink in you. Once it sinks, then you become a business analyst. That's how you solve problems. We are not going to complex business analysis or advanced business analysis. These are simple business analysis techniques that can turn even a nation around. All right, thank you for listening. Got questions for me? I will take the question before I say Happy Easter, and see you. So if you got any question, I'm still here. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Charles.
All right, Mr. Abianuchu.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful Easter celebration.
And you and your family.
Thank you so much.
Oluseji,
Good evening, sir.
how are you?
Please, I want you to pardon my curiosity because I was following you with the whys and whys and whys, and on my own, I just developed beyond the 5 whys, and it was good you said that one can go beyond the 5 whys to look at the problem. In my own case, when we got to the batteries were flat, and I also asked, or somebody, he said I forgot to replace them. So I can also ask, why were you unable to replace them? Maybe the guy will say, I stayed late at work or something like that. And why did you stay late at work? The person who's supposed to take over the shift did not come, things like that. You continue going in circles and you come back to the same. Will this be able to solve the problem?
Yeah, at some point, the why you can't attribute this because you came back to work late. This is a problem why you are speeding, and what makes you to go to work. You have to find out what makes you to go to work on time. You can use more than 5 whys, but you can't just be capturing irrelevant issues here. We need to be serious. And equally, you need to work with your team to agree if you are solving this problem. But Miss Uju, please put yourself on mute. So at times you put your common on, you use your common this thing so to avoid recurring and you just running around. You shouldn't be capturing some irrelevant issues here, some trivial issues. Go straight to the point and find out what causes a particular. This is, if you are trying to attribute, some people will always try to find a fault, a reason for everything. You have tried to avoid some of this if you need to be straightforward. You know, so if it's somebody who is supposed to take you at work, is different area. This is work area at work. Sort that one out at work area. When you come at home, try to break this project or this problem, break them away. If there is somebody who is, if he's linked, then you have to try to link them and solve all of them. If you're linking it to work environments, somebody who is taking a shift from you didn't come on time, that somebody take a shift for you will not stop you from, if it's affecting you, that you start forgetting some basic things at home, then you have to go dress the issue at work and then come back home and dress the one at home. You have to find a lasting solution. Why? Like I said, you continue to ask why until there's no more why. And if you are asking why and you come back again to connect, it means you have captured all the whys. When the why is now coming back to connect from the beginning, then it means you've captured all the whys. And then it's now left for you to break them down, the related and non-related, and then find a way to solve all the problems.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. All right. If you still have any more questions, okay. I think we're done. Thank you, everyone, for making our time to join
So much.
this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Charles. This is not a question. This is not a question, but I just wonder because you know what happened in London on Wednesday. Arsenal meeting Real Madrid, and it was more or less like a carnival in London.
Yeah.
Especially that Arsenal beat Real Madrid. I hope you also enjoyed it. So
Yes.
it's part of your Easter enjoyment. Best wishes to you, sir.
All right. Thank you. I can see you are a staunch fan of Arsenal.
What if Mr. Charles is a Madrid fan?
No. I'm a patriotic. This is beyond the Real Madrid fan. This is like a national celebration because it's between England and Spain. That's the way we see it. So it's between England and Spain. It's no longer between Real Madrid and Arsenal. It's like England wants Spain. Yeah. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Happy Mr. Charles.
Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Charles.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
So I hope
Good night, sir.
I hope somebody sent to you Easter egg. Okay. You should if you live close by, find your closest boot camper here. Go to your group. In your group, find somebody who is closest to you. Send them Easter egg. You know.
Charles, do Easter giveaway for us.
That's why I'm telling you to do it. It's not only Mr. Charles. I'm telling you to do it first. When you give someone, then come and collect some from me.
Giving already.
You you mustn't be at the receiving end. You should want to try to be at the giving end. That's what I'm telling you to give.
You have told it.
So I'm telling you to give, you are telling me to give you. I've already asked you to give. Give. They said, the Bible said that the hand that giveth, you know. So
Say,
it's better
blessed
to.
is the hand that give it, or give it shall be given unto you.
So Beatrice, give.
Yes, sir.
So I want to make sure that specifically Beatrice, I want to make sure that somebody receives something from Beatrice.
I've paid my dues already. I've given already.
Well, we want anybody whom you give. I want anybody that Beatrice give to post it on our platform.
No, not
If,
here. Or a couple
no,
that
if
wants to get
Beatrice,
married.
if charity begins from this is our home, as long as people staff is concerned. If we didn't receive anything from Beatrice, I'm watching you now.
Jesus Christ.
You are now in my radar. You have now replaced Sylvia.
Let's see if you continue, sir.
No, I'm watching you. Sylvia is now a grand patron here. Now I've discovered you. So
Jesus Christ.
you need to give, or you'll be on my blacklist. Beatrice, Adeshola, I've crammed their name.
Wow,
right?
wow.
All right. Thank you, everyone, and see you. See you very soon. And please, while coming back, make sure you sorted all your assignments. Make sure that everything in boot camp and the faith camp is ready. We've not had status updates for some time. As we are coming back, I want to make sure we are on track. And thank you and good night. Happy Easter, everyone.
Wish you a wonderful Easter. Bye, everybody.
Happy Easter, everyone. Good night.
Happy Easter, everyone.
Happy Easter.